When we started off at UCLA, we went with more of a unilateral, explosive, stability, kind of twang with it. We started off with bottoms up, kettlebell, bench press. We only went single arm, so we went unilateral single arm, but more so focused on stability of the shoulder, also still gaining strength with the upper body. It's one of those exercises that I would not recommend to any beginners. You can always start off with just your basic dumbbell bench. I wouldn't go, to a T and saying I'm, a youth athlete trying to work on my shoulder stability right this second. It's not something I'd jump into. So this is more geared up for like your experienced athletes, college guys, high school league guys, and stuff like that. So we paired the kettlebell press to kind of give it like a full body dynamic. So we went with like a lunge, like a variation of a lunge. We went lateral, reverse. We opened up about an extra 45, and then going down to reach on that lunge leg. So we're also hitting post chain. Same thing is kind of strengthening up the adductors, I'm sorry. And just adding that variation. It's something you can kind of play with. Again, it's not one of those things, this is a complex day. I wouldn't really go, over the top trying to do something crazy. I mean, as you can see in the video, Bregman is already gassed. And you're talking kid that's in the big leagues. I think he only hit like 15 jacks this past year, but stability is what we were working on this offseason. It was one of his key focal points, along with gaining some power and explosiveness. He's huge on core. This is one of those exercises that's going to demand a lot from the core, because not only are you having to contract and stay, how can I say this, flexed. So you're staying tense through the core. You're going to feel your hips light up. You're going to feel your feet kind of drift up and down on the ground. You got to keep those hips stable, keep the hip flexors locked in, glutes are tight. You can kind of see even in the video too, guys, pay attention to your shoes, because Alex is wearing his, I don't even know what type of Adidas those are, but you can see his foot coming out of the sides. Guys, pay attention to your footwear. And for the most part, guys, I want to say we went with Breg. We went 3 to 4 sets, kind of depending on what he was feeling. I think we stuck it to 3 sets of 5 reps when you're going lateral in that open 45 angle with that reach. So, like I said, it's all, this specific day was almost an active recovery day. As you can see, like I was talking about earlier, we're focused on this certain day more so on stability. So that's why he's got that kettlebell flipped upside down. He's working his forearms, he's working his wrists, he's squeezing, he's starting to sweat now. Now you're getting a little bit of neural drive. He's starting to open up now. You can hear the heavy breathing going on, and it almost looks as if it's a simple exercise. I think he only had 35 pounds, but flip a kettlebell upside down, try holding 35 pounds. It's not one of those fun exercises. That's one big thing too, kids. I know y'all see it in the video. Rack your weights. You're watching a major league third baseman racking his own weights. So what Alex is doing here is he's going a crossover grip. And as he's pulling down, he's packing lats. We're looking at strengthening the upper back and the mid traps, but also getting the rhomboids activated a little bit right in here. Just adding that rotation to it still just gives it a dynamic feel. Plus it's also kind of based on the athlete. Are you feeling this? Okay, we'll go ahead and flip your thumbs out. Go ahead and supinate. And if they're not feeling it, again, stay in that pronation with the thumbs facing each other or facing down. Yeah, so we're really keying in on lats, rhomboids, traps, delts, really defining his back. Just more so for proper development of his back. you guys know how it is. Sometimes when you see guys with the cell phone shoulders or a forward roll, a little bit of kyphosis, this is one of those things, just getting technical with some of you younger athletes out there. This is going to help fix your posture. I mean, and you're also developing lat strength, and that's one of the key decelerators in our throwing mechanics anyway. So if you got weak lats, you know, your rotator cuff is going to suffer a little bit. So any chance that we have to address that, that standard, why not? And if you have a Kaiser machine, it makes it kind of fun because it'll even tell you your power output, which just means how fast are we rowing backwards or how fast are we punching. On this next exercise, or what we paired with the high row, was the single leg hamstring curl, but he was also in an elevated position. Heels are digging into the ground. He's got his shoulders down and back, his core is tight. He's in a good hip extension right here. As you can see, he's squeezing his butt cheeks or his glutes, and he's only focusing in with that valve slide under one heel. So he's strengthening his posterior chain, which is his back side. He's got glutes activated, hamstrings are firing. He's in dorsiflexion, which just means his heels are digging in, his toes are towards the shins. Isolating the post chain, you're actively curling the other, your hip extensions are getting lit up. You're really defining and strengthening those hamstrings, which are pivotal in our sprint work, and being baseball players, we're so stop and go that our hamstrings are our decelerators. So pretty much that's telling you most injuries happen when we're trying to slow down. If they're not strong, they can't slow you down. So if you're a guy that runs a 6'4" and all of a sudden has to try to come to a complete stop, no bueno, dude. If your hamstrings aren't strong enough, you're gonna blow out. So that's kind of an area that really needs to, if it's something that you feel is weak, really need to address it. Decelerators are huge. And like what we were talking about earlier, Alex's main focus this offseason was his core strength. Big thing that I tell the guys when they come in and train with me is pulling the ribs down. Anytime you're ever in an extensive position with that low back where kind of your butt feels like it's poking out, and they say baseball players got big butts. Guys, Alex used to be, I say used to be, a shortstop at the college level, and all the way up to the minor leagues up until I think Fresno. Actually, no, I don't even remember. Alex thinks he's still a catcher. So, but one big thing that has been so huge for him is the key here whenever we're doing any type of exercising is pulling the ribs down. So when you're in that extended position, you're just loading that low back. Guys, that's not bueno. You got a good core, that's the best way to build a six-pack, not just doing abs every day. You're gonna build abs through lifting. You lift heavy, they're gonna show a little bit better. Y'all can see in this, there's a really good shot right here of Alex doing these hamstring curls where you can see his glutes, his butt is completely off the ground. His core doesn't look as braced as it was earlier, but you can see he's starting to fatigue. Bad sweater came off, bad tan. Somebody tell the guy to get some sun. But I mean, his core's braced, he's keying in. You're gonna start to get that cramp feel. If you guys are trying this exercise, that cramp feel is somebody telling you, hey dude, I'm weak. So we gotta key in on this and we gotta get stronger. Good variation is you can add bands at some point. You can put them around the ball of your foot. So what we did here, I mean, this is the Kaiser row to punch. So you guys can kind of see there's no effort yet because he is still trying to get that feel down, and he's getting keyed up on as he rows back, that shoulder's coming back with him. So his scap is going from protraction when he's in that reach position. He's retracting, but everybody moves at one time, and he's dummying, and as you can kind of see, he's dummying his swing. Swing, throw, anything that he's doing is now going to almost feel supernatural. We do another variation where it's like a push-pull type of exercise. High intensity, weight's high. You're more so looking for power output. How fast and explosive can you be in these certain positions? Also adding that dynamic to it. because in baseball that's going to be a key pivotal functional movement in our sport. So being able to get stronger, I mean, it's going to make your swing feel easy. The road punches are very similar to hitting, like I was saying. So you're pulling, you're loading that lat, scap, and obliques getting fired up. On that punch, you're working that rotational power, rotational core strength. With these pal-off punches, you guys can kind of see like the yellow. I want to say we were using maybe an inch band. What he's doing is, this is an anti-rotation exercise. You're gonna feel your core, if you're doing it right, put it this way, if you're doing it right, you're gonna feel your core light up in ways that you wish weren't imaginable. But because we're such rotational athletes with throwing, with hitting, you have to work that anti-rotation, because you build a strong foundation, then you add your power with that rotation. So with these pal-off punches, what we did here is, I want to say we went 20 seconds at different angles. With Alex doing the pal-off punches, what he's doing here is he's keeping his glutes underneath, his hips are tucked, his core is tight. This is that anti-rotation I was talking about earlier, and his body staying in that neutral position with the band pulling him to the left, to the right, and he's in a rapid response of changing the length and the tension into that band. So he's going 15, 20 second bursts. I'm changing angles with my hands, kind of playing with it. It's one of those exercises that, as long as I'm trying to maintain that firm, strong anatomical position, and I'm fully flexed through my core, it is something that's gonna light you up. So when we go back into it, now you can start kind of seeing Alex with a little bit of extra juice now. So he worked on that anterior core, that anti-rotation. His obliques are on fire right now, but they're also not on fire in a bad way. They're awake. His core is braced now. Now there's a little bit of juice. His hip flexors are nice and loose, because hip flexors are part of the core, part of the anterior core. And you can see his big key here is he's staying short and right through. So he's almost mimicking his identical swing. Nothing's going out of whack. He's not doing anything extra. But you can see the tension pulling him away from his body. He's using his obliques to keep him tight, and it's still also working that shoulder stability when his hand is at the distal point, which is the farthest part of the midline. He's stabilizing. He's not going out of control. So, oh, there we go. Now we got juice from Bregman. Dead center homers, kids. If you get that core right, you can rotate a lot faster and a lot more powerful. Which why him not being the biggest guy in the world still makes him a deadly weapon. He's got a strong core, really good base, knows his limitations, and really tries to perfect his craft. It's something that he takes stupidly seriously. Even on days that he's dragging, there's still time for core work. And we're not always doing rotational stuff. We're not doing Russian twists. We're not doing this. We'll do our planks. We'll do variations of planks. What Adrian's got going on here to finish this freaking wonderful day over at UCLA was FRC, and then over at DST we call it Pails and Rails. So we're going through kin stretch, and for those of you that do not know what it is passive and active training on certain joints at certain angles to hopefully achieve new positions. For guys that have tight hips, you guys can kind of see here, we have the 90-90 pail and rail is what we call it. So what Adrian's doing here is he's gonna bring his belly button towards that front knee. He's in that 90-90 position, and that angle is where I'm talking about. You can kind of see his knees are bent 90 degrees. He's thinking about taking deep breaths, nice and relaxed. You can't try to muscle up these type of exercises, because again, it is your range of motion. You know your body best. You know what you can take, and you know what you can't take. So you gotta kind of take it slow on these.
All right, guys, let's eliminate one basic support. Your inside hand's probably gonna be the base one. Bring that in. And lastly, guys, take off the other. Hang out right here. Hanging out. Work through the cramp shots. Do not come out of it. You can put your hand down if you need to, but you stay in the position. You got shit hips, man. Your body at some point is going to say, I can't be here no more. If you want to get better at it, you got to stick there. Okay? Stay there. Breathe through it. Both hands, you guys, down on the floor. Follow my lead here. We're going to do some lift-offs and some hovers. So with my right leg, I'm going to draw back. Make sure my ass is behind me. And I'm going to lift, pull, and hold. Okay? For a 10 count. Again, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, relax. Good.
How high was that?
As high as your body will allow you to. And as long as you can maintain that forward orientation, we're good, right? Like if you got to do this, that ain't it, right? All right, so my back leg right here, you guys are going to do something kind of similar. Instead of lifting off though, I'm going to internally rotate. You're going to have to get a little bit more forward lean, okay? You're good. We're gonna find this, okay? All right, you guys, so lean forward just a hair and internally rotate. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good. All right, you guys. Posture up. Both hands to support. Come on. Hang out. Should be feeling a little easier to be in there this time.
Way easier.
Hey, just know that you usually go down one leg first. That's the easier way. The body knows.
The body knows.
What?
Check out how bad your other side is when you switch.
All right, guys. Hands down. Forward orientation with my front leg. Lift off in 3, 2, 1. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, relax. A little more forward lean. Focus on the back leg, internal rotation. Begin. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You guys feel tension in your obliques when you do that?
No, I feel
Like right here.
Okay, yeah, TFL is kind of shortening. That little transference exercise you did, that kind of row, right, engaging your lat, and then rotating and pulling, okay? Big lat oblique contribution with those movements. When you go to internal rotation, your obliques are facilitating a lot of that. So as you guys get better internal rotation, you should be feeling more and more oblique contribution to that movement, okay? Let's do this, you guys come back in here. Nice and tight. We're gonna go ahead and extend our hips, okay? Come straight up, squeeze your butt cheeks. Hang out here, we're on a little bit of a stretch. That's what really allowed Oklahoma to play ahead of Notre Dame's defense. It's been fine. Light stretching going. And do this, you guys. Come on down to the ground and switch legs. We're starting out nice and narrow.
No, come right down the middle.
Yeah, you're right down the middle?
Yeah. Tell us this is your guys' facility.
Hanging out here. All right, guys, take it out. 290. Ankle, knee, hip, all lined up. One side's typically better than the other. Got a good SNC, guys. Good stuff on the board out there. So much. So they have some good SNC. Some good shit on that board. All right, guys, one hand comes off.
Choice was made by the offense to find the open Brady Manic. He's getting his feet set. He's got deep range. Absolutely thrilled.
And off the line comes off.
That's really been the issue. They've shot the ball so well.
That posture up you got.
For a time, they've been losing the turnover battle. And they have to do a better job on the blacks. They're the team that should own the paint in this game. And then the question is, can they defend elimination?
Hands out in front.
They've shot the ball.
Good stable base of support. Lifting the front leg. Hover 10 seconds and begin.
They're up by 8.
7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Josh, don't press yourself up in the air. That ain't it, right? Stay forward. Right, as opposed to doing that. Ready? And internally rotate. Lift. Seven, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Relax. Hang out here. Alright, no hands. Right to no hands.
Little easier.
Syracuse is going to be one of the best teams in the ACC. You know, they're older. Bob Huggins right there. Bob Huggins, an academic All-American at West Virginia. I'll be there in about years. Should take on Florida.
What up, Sco?
Alright, you guys, posture up.
Sco never wants to work out with us.
Lifting the front leg. 3, 2, 1, lift. 6,
Come on, Mike.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Woo.